Hi, my name's Richard Pether and I'm here to talk about an exciting new product that we're adding to our range of printers here at Rotech. It's called the Integra PP Razr. To give you a quick overview of the Razr, it's essentially in two parts, a print head and a print reservoir. The print head has a print height of 34 millimeters. Now this is a unique print height within the capabilities of a printer using an ink capable of printing onto a non-porous surface. So as an example, we've got a coated carton here where we've printed all of this information in one pass using the Razr. So not only does this reservoir provide the ink down into the printer, it also allows it to keep running through exchanges of the cassette so that effectively it's a non-stop printer as well. Where the Razr sits in the range is very much sort of between the two technologies of the TIG printers and the large area printers. A TIG printer is limited in its print height to 12.5 millimeters or half an inch. The Razr with its 34 millimeter high print height is obviously nearly 3 times the capability of a standard TIG cartridge. Now this means that when you come onto things like barcodes, they can be printed seamlessly with the single head, whereas the TIG you would stitch heads together. The key similarity between Razr and TIG is that it uses the same inks, and those inks are capable of printing onto a non-porous surface. The large area printers, which take us up to print heights of 72 or 108 millimeters, are designed for porous surface. So Razr really sits right in the middle there, giving a large area capability, but also the ability to print onto a non-porous surface. One aspect of the Razr printer, and indeed a TIG printer, that's worth just looking at is the nozzle plate. Now on both of these types of printers, there are 2 columns of nozzles. They're really there to give the maximum resolution. By having 2 sets of nozzles, you get a 600 dpi native resolution from the print head. Now, you really don't need that sort of resolution for the sorts of applications that we have in packaging. So invariably, we only use one of those sets of nozzles. Now, in a TIG cartridge, you use the cartridge and then you change the whole ink delivery system. So the fact you've only used one set of nozzles and the other are unused is really immaterial. When you come onto the Razr printer, you're running ink from the cartridge through it all the time. So now that second set of nozzles actually comes quite useful because you're using one side in normal operation, and when you start to get a pixel failure on that, which is after many thousands of meters but will happen eventually, you've got another set of nozzles in reserve that you can flip over to, and then you can go again for the same length of time. So the 2 nozzles, when used in this application, actually give you double the print head life, because you're never going to use 2 all the time. The Razr is ideal for printing onto film product, such as this, where traditionally you might have used a TTO printer. Now, the thermal transfer technology requires contact, so the print head has to come down and contact the film surface. The Razr is a contact-free method, and this also allows it to print faster, typically up to a speed of something like 150 meters a minute. Now, even the fastest TTO printer is not going to get to within half of that speed. So it's offering a speed advantage, and also, what could be crucial, that it's contact free. So you don't have to have a platen roller on the other side of the material. You can jet directly onto the surface of the material. To sum up the Razr in 4 words, best of both worlds. You're getting the adhesion of a non-porous TIG ink with the print height of one of our larger area printers. So really it is the best of both worlds. The Razr printer lends itself to both online and offline applications, much like our other printers. You see it here fitted onto one of the Rotech RF Autos, where it's capable of doing, in fact, this job, where the cartons can be fed and printed offline. However, its compact size and ease of mounting means that it can be put onto a production line as well, so it could be printing directly onto the side of, say, an outer tray that's coming down a line, or it could be further back where it's printing onto the foil or the film running on something like a flow wrapper or a strip packer. Anything non-porous needing a larger print area, possibly with an ingredients declaration or possibly a barcode. The two major selling points for the Integra PP Razr, the things that customers like above all else with the system, are firstly the ability to print a much larger height than with a TIJ printer, 34mm versus 12.5. So this means that just about any barcode format can be printed seamlessly onto a non-porous surface using the Razr printhead. The other thing which the system gives is continual running, because there's a certain amount of ink held in the printhead, and then the reservoir cassette held in the controller can be changed during running. So it really is a non-stop process where there's no need to change, even for those few seconds, to change an ink cartridge in a TIJ printer. In any inkjet technology, the fundamental principle is to be able to eject dots forward onto the surface. So what you have to do is to produce those dots. With a piezo system, a piezo crystal turns on and off at very high speed, and that allows ink to flow or not to flow at very high speed. So you get a stream of dots coming out of the head. The head itself is an array of very many piezo crystals, typically running at 300 or 600 per inch. So as you fire the drops forward with the motion of the product in front of it, that makes up the character or makes up the print. As far as maintenance goes for the Razr printer, in normal operation you just keep adding ink cassettes, that keeps flowing through, and that's all there is to it. If the head is left unattended for an extended period, the cover is put onto the print head just to keep it from drying, and then that's simply opened up again to resume printing. After many months of use, the print head will start to fail, but these are many months and many thousand meters of use, and then the print head in there is simply changed for a new one, and you're back to where you started, back to a brand new system. Print quality of the Razr printer is, as you expect, very high. Everything now we're doing with these technologies tends to be at the sort of 300 dpi upwards range, and it's exactly the same for the Razr. The print quality we're obtaining on the carton is very good on that barcode. 300 dpi is probably about the sweet spot, because as you start to put more ink down, you actually overprint it. You're getting too much ink down to the surface. And of course, if you're looking at a surface like a film, that again, you don't want too much ink, you want the right amount of ink. But certainly 300 dpi is giving you every bit the quality you need for any overprinting application. So what are the ideal applications for a Razr? Well, the key thing is that 34mm print height, because that means that you can print a lot of information, and in particular you can print a barcode. So if you want to put a barcode onto a pouch, onto a carton, onto anything in particular that's non-porous, then you can use a Razr for that. Also, with that 34mm print height, you've got the facility to put down a lot of information. So if you've got a complete product description, an ingredient declaration, some graphics, whatever it might be that you need to print, then you've got the facility with that 34mm print height to print a lot of information in one pass seamlessly with the Razr. If you're wondering how the razor might perform on your material, why not send us some? We've got printers here, we can run them past the printer, make the mark that you ask us to, and then we can send it back to you for you to evaluate and see how it could change your production process. So how do you find out more about the razor? Well, you can contact us on our website, www.rotechmachines.com. You'll find a link there for contacting us either via chat or send us an email. Of course, you're always welcome to pick up the phone. We're on 01707 393 700. A real person always answers the phone at Rotech, and we'll always be happy to speak to you.